Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Holy what is happening right now? Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Every time I make a new video, the topics I'm discussing and commentating on just seem to get more and more dystopian. So, the ability to make a funny, unserious joke at the beginning of my videos is just becoming harder and harder to do. I remember a time when I used to start my videos with cute little bits where I'd act out the parts. Maybe use a little accent here and there. I thought life was so bad then. But I didn't know how good I had it. At least I was able to make light of all the bad things happening. I can't even do that anymore. That's how bad things have actually gotten. Bits just feel distasteful. I can't even remember what a bit tastes like, to be honest with you. Pistachio? Things have gotten so bad that The Boys, a show made to parody and over-dramatize politics and capitalism, has lost its shock value entirely. That's right. TV shows made to feel dystopian, like The Boys or Black Mirror, actually feel like a tamer version of our own reality. And on today's daily dose of dystopian reality, we're talking about Melania Trump's new documentary that just released in theaters. And it's the exact type of shameless propaganda that Vought, the evil corporation in The Boys, would make. The icing on the cake? The Boys is an Amazon Prime show. The same company that bought the rights to this Melania documentary for $40 million. Maybe I'm just having a tough time with bits because they're just writing themselves. Well, guys, I guess we have the movie of the year on our hands here. I mean, not only is it the #1 highest opening in 10 years, but your local PTA is stepping out too. I mean, this is insane. This image is crazy, but I get it. I, too, am really glad that we got a documentary and inside look at one of the most intriguing members of the Trump administration. I really wanted to know more about Melania. I mean, we already know so much about Donald and why not only should he not be allowed in office, but why he shouldn't be allowed around children either. And you know, I'm tired of hearing about him, because nothing's being done. So I actually welcome this palate cleanse. I invite it, just like how Jeffrey Epstein invited Donald and Melania onto his island. Now, I did watch the movie, and I am going to talk about it because that's my job now, I guess. But before I do, let's talk about what went into the making of Melania, because there's a lot of shady shit. We briefly talked about Amazon's involvement in this movie, but let's really take a look at these digits. On top of spending $35 million for promotion, Amazon paid Mrs. Trump's production company $40 million for the rights to Melania, about $26 million more than the next closest bidder, Disney. Wow, the Melania movie is a hot topic. $75 million, and it's got the biggest corporations in the world fighting over it. It's like Challengers, but instead of bi-curious men, it's power-hungry corporations. The interesting part about all this? High-profile documentaries like this one usually cost less than $5 million to produce. So why the fuck is Amazon paying so much money? Actually, in response, Amazon said, we licensed the film for one reason and one reason only, because we think customers are gonna love it. I mean, were they right? Melania did make $7 million its opening weekend, performing better than anyone anticipated. Well, would you be surprised if I said that, in usual Trump fashion, they might be cheating their way to get there? Attend Melania documentary, free tickets, and you get $50. Must remain in seats for entirety of film. Nice. Bribing people to go watch this shitty movie because they were excited to provide true American patriots the opportunity to attend the best documentary ever created while providing so much needed relief for Biden's economy. Biden is basically dead. Can we blame somebody else now? But guess what? This is only the smallest instance of box office trickery for the Melania movie. According to box office expert and former IndieWire editor Tom Brueggemann, there are signs of fake ticket sales in order to inflate the earnings associated with the documentary. He raised the possibility that tickets were bought in bulk and handed out to audiences, or not handed out at all. Bulk sales of the new documentary Melania, 20 Days to History, are being promoted through emails from the National Faith Advisory Board, a faith coalition led by Paula White Cain, who also served as a senior advisor in the White House Faith Office. Book with your group, buy a group of tickets together, or book a private screening. Supporting this film is about standing up for grace over the noise, dignity over distortion, and for the truth. They say as they try to manipulate the box office numbers. Basically, buying out a theater for a private screening typically costs anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. So literally, all the seats are paid for regardless of if anyone actually shows up. And in terms of bulk ticket buying, we have no data on attendance versus purchased seats, so people could just be bulk buying tickets without actually going or having a group to go with. So, okay, Clearly Melania wasn't going to make enough, hence the workarounds here, but if that's the case, why did Amazon spend so much money on a documentary like this? Julie Cohen, one of the directors for the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary, as well as other Amazon documentaries, stated, "I've loved working with them in the past, but I wouldn't want to work with them in the future. I'm very concerned about the amount of money they paid for the film. That's not normal spending for a documentary." So I would think that would suggest that Amazon is buying something else for that money. That's a big problem. And you know, I'd love to believe Oscar-nominated director Julie Cohen here, but I argue, what if Amazon paid that much money for the director behind the film? I'm asking. What if it's a really prestigious documentary director like Ken Burns or Werner Herzog or Alex Gibney? Oh, it's Brett Ratner, infamous sexual predator, friend of Epstein and not a documentary director? Oh, okay.
What is your response to that picture? And what is your response to the wider scandal of the Epstein files?
Oh, well, that picture in particular happened around 20 years ago, 19, 20 to 21 years ago, because that is a photograph of my fiance who invited me to this event. And that's where the picture was taken. I was never been in contact with Jeffrey Epstein before that photo, and I was never in contact with him after.
Dude just learned how to lie. This was an isolated event. I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein before or after this picture. My mind was actually wiped, so the only reason I know about this picture in the first place is because you're showing it to me right now. You can tell he's been getting away with shit like this for decades because it's clear he's not used to being confronted. Hey, at least Melania's in his corner.
I said, the most important is that he puts out my idea, what I have, and cinematic film that I want to achieve. So he was the best one, and he was great to work with.
Yes, that's what's important, that he brings your film to life, not the numerous sexual assault allegations or this picture of him clearly meeting Epstein for the first time, which I guess that's just a way of greeting people I didn't know about. Cuddling with them. All right, well, it seems like we have all of our eggs in our basket here. All of our ducks in a row, all of our predators on the same island. I think it's time we give this movie a shot. But before we do that, here's a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. I literally have no idea who has access to my data and information. In the height of the technological age, instead of celebrating the advancements we're making, I'm scared of what they could do. We've talked about protection on this channel plenty, and with the rise of tech oligarchs and their hunger for our data and information, proper technological safety is more pertinent now than ever before. This is where the sponsor of today's video, Cape, comes in. While many people use tools like VPNs or encrypted messaging apps, app-based solutions can't fix a problem rooted at the network level. Attacks like SIM swaps, surveillance voicemail hacking, and metadata leaks happen below the surface where traditional privacy tools can't reach. VPNs are great for peace of mind, but people have adapted and we need something better. Enter Cape. Cape is a secure mobile carrier that was created by experts in telecom, cybersecurity, and national security, so you can trust them in not only providing premium cell service, just like AT&T and Verizon, but also to keep you and your data private. A big part of this trust is built right at the beginning of the process. How can Cape give away your information if they know nothing about you in the first place? Cape's onboarding process requires little to no information about yourself, so you won't be giving your name or social security number. Cape offers a plethora of different tools like encrypted voicemails, private payment, enhanced signaling protection, and their newest addition, identifier rotation. Every SIM card has a unique identifier which your device uses to register with cellular networks called an International Mobile Subscriber ID. Usually, you would have a fixed ID, making it easier for your carrier, advertisers, and bad actors to identify and track your device over time. But Cape lets subscribers automatically rotate their ID every 24 hours, making you look like a different subscriber every day. This makes it much more difficult for anyone to breach through and track you and your activity. Cape is a trusted network carrier that ensures your technological safety and protection. If you want to try Cape, click the link in my description and use code SAJI33 for 33% off the first 6 months. And thank you, Cape, for sponsoring this video. Now, before people get all up in arms, I didn't buy a ticket to Melania. I actually bought a ticket to 28 years later Bone Temple and just snuck into Melania. Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Tickets for the Bone Temple?
And this is rated R, isn't it?
Yes, it is rated R. See my ID?
Yes.
I got you. which if the really sweet older lady that scanned my ticket is watching, great movie. Really, really good. And of course, although it is my job, I didn't want to watch Melania all by myself. So I enlisted some help from my friend Hassan. Or tricked, actually. I tricked him. I don't know. I was in a lying mood that day. Maybe the Trump energy rubbed off on me.
Yo!
Hey, Hassan.
What's
Good to see
baby?
you. Good to see you, man.
You got our tickets and shit?
For the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, you
fucking-
excited?
Yes, Zootopia, bro.
The sequel.
I'm not much of a furry, but I'm feeling the energy, the warmth.
You feel it? Do you think you could be converted, maybe?
If it comes with some sort of tax break, I'm down for it.
Always love
but not in the right wing way.
Not in the right wing way.
Yes.
You don't like right wingers.
No. I like the camaraderie that they have.
Mm.
Did you see the first one?
The first Zootopia?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of allegories to conservatism. I thought, maybe we could check this one out, see if there's any more allegories to conservatism. So, I got something to tell you.
You didn't get our tickets yet?
We're now watching Zootopia 2. So, do you know President Donald J. Trump? He's got a wife.
Yeah.
And she just released a movie today, and I wanted to make a video.
Are you dead ass? Are you being for real? Let me out of the car right now. Let me out of the car.
Now, as much as I wish we did crash and die, we didn't. We did, in fact, make it to the theater and endured an excruciating almost 2 hours of what was basically nothingness. Our theater was almost entirely empty opening night, aside from 4 other people in the theater with us, which is especially funny because the movie was being played in one of the smallest theaters available. I actually have a picture of how many seats were sold when I was looking for tickets, and at the time, they were all open. There are a lot of negative reviews of this documentary that I'm sure you've heard by now. Melania shows off her custom-made inauguration gown, stark white and black ribbons overlaying it. A dress that now looks unavoidably like the redacted Epstein files. Melania is a documentary that never comes to life. If they showed the Melania documentary on a plane, people would still walk out. That one's a personal favorite of mine, and all of these are pretty damn accurate. Melania is a shell of anything it's trying to be. But it's like a shell of a shell because I have no idea what that shell is trying to be. It's like a shell trying to be a shell. Melania is a movie that covers 20 days leading up to Trump's inauguration. The point, I think, is to give insight into the role and part Melania plays in the White House and as First Lady. But it doesn't actually do that, so I'm gonna assume that she doesn't fucking do anything. Watching this movie is like reading a coffee table magazine, or watching a 2-hour-long day-in-the-life video. Bright, vivid, glorious images that never show any weakness, vulnerability, or insight. She literally never shows any emotion in this movie, even though physically feeling emotions is talked about thoroughly by Melania herself. She narrates this doc in its entirety with such a stoic tone that it almost convinces you she doesn't even feel anything. And there are some attempted emotional beats here. Melania talks a lot about her late mother in this film, bringing up that Jimmy Carter died on the same day her mother did a year later. And when showing coverage of the Trumps at Jimmy Carter's funeral, she was almost entirely making it about her mother, talking about her so much that at one point I forgot we were at Jimmy Carter's funeral, and instead thought we were at Melania's mother's funeral. But even still, there was nothing to feel. Melania was saying that she felt lost, but I didn't hear nor see it. She expands on the talk about her family and briefly discusses her own immigrant experience. Walking into the Capitol's rotunda, I felt the weight of history intertwined with my own journey as an immigrant. A reminder of why I respect this nation so deeply. Everyone should do what they can to protect our individual rights. Never take them for granted. She says as ICE is currently violating immigrants' individual rights. This moment, where Melania reflects on her immigrant experience, is so shallow and almost patronistic to describe it in such a way that completely ignores how immigrants are actually being treated in this country. This slight show of vulnerability is really just a display of grandstanding, reminding us that while white immigrants face their own struggles, they have an entirely different experience to brown immigrants. And while this is a very shallow thing of her to say, it is also the deepest insight into Melania's brain that we get. I mean, genuinely, I think the only time I felt an emotion during this movie was during a scene when Melania was being driven to an event, and you can hear Brett Ratner ask her what type of music she listens to and what her favorite song is. And she goes, I like Michael Jackson. My favorite song is Billie Jean. And they play the song in the car and everyone's singing along, even Brett Ratner behind the camera, and I only felt something because Billie Jean is a good song. You'd have to be a robot to listen to that and not feel anything. In fact, it seems like a tactic in this movie. I mean, there is so much licensed music, probably to just evoke whatever feeling isn't there. Now, as I've already mentioned, the intention of this documentary seems to be to showcase what Melania does. There's like 3 or 4 things-ish that they really highlight, even going as far to remind you in white text at the end of the movie that she did do these things, which include fostering the future, Melania's backing of an anti-deepfake bill, her new AI voice audiobook, and how Melania has visited people in certain areas that were affected by natural disasters. That last one was pretty much just as vague as how I said it. Her AI voice audiobook is just an AI voice replica of her narrating the book, which who knows if that's what they did for the documentary. Melania's support of the Take It Down Act is a bill that would take action against non-consensual deepfakes, but also threatens consensual explicit images or even content like journalism or political speech. And Melania's Fostering the Future is a campaign which seeks to expand access to educational and employment opportunities for kids aging out of the foster care system, but places preferential treatment on religious foster care homes. Trump's order will protect the right of these organizations to receive federal funding, even if they work with foster parents who discriminate against queer and trans youth. So, even the 2 biggest attempts at effort have caveats. This movie is an attempt at showing the nuance in a powerful figure, someone who is adjacent to so much political power just to give us shallow, blatant propaganda that does nothing real. The only real thing it does do is work as a distraction. The Epstein files, ICE agents, murdering innocent people in the streets. My life was completely unaffected by this movie. Like, I could have not watched this and nothing in my life would be different. But people's lives are being affected in very real ways right now because of ICE, because of Border Patrol, ways that the people behind this movie want you to forget about, and instead focus on what a real immigrant should look like. You know what? I lied. God, I think I am just a liar. I did feel something after watching this movie. Regret for lying to that sweet box office lady. If anything, I want her to know that I wish I could take it all back. Imagine what she would think of me if she knew. If she really knew. I haven't even watched any of the 28 Years movies. She could have quizzed me on them, but she didn't because she trusted me. You know what? I'm turning over a new leaf. My 1 week of just lying a bunch is over. I'm a new man. Reborn. And my first act of honesty is letting you know that we are so close to 300K subscribers. 300,000. That's a big deal. I don't get on my knees and beg often, but as I said, I'm turning over a new leaf. If you enjoyed the video, of course. If you didn't like it, you can go somewhere else. I'm not forcing you. I'm just saying you have the option. And consider supporting the channel by becoming a channel member to gain access to perks like new videos early. I appreciate the support a lot. It really means a lot to me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.